Did you know a man became prime minister of his country and less than 7 months later he was tortured, executed, cut into pieces and dissolved in acid? His crime? Wanting his country to truly be free. His name was Patrice Émery Lumumba, and his story is one of the darkest chapters in African history. Born in 1925 in what was then Virgin Congo, Lumumba grew up under one of the most brutal colonial systems the world had ever seen. The Congo was rich beyond imagination: gold, diamonds, copper. But while foreign powers grew wealthy from its resources, millions of Congolese lived under oppression. Lumumba saw it, he lived it, and he refused to accept it. Self-educated and fiercely intelligent, he worked as a postal clerk, became journalist, and eventually emerged as one of the strongest voices demanding independence. Not tomorrow, not gradually, now. In 1958, he founded the movement of National Congolese. Unlike many politicians of his time, Lumumba rejected tribal division. He dreamed of one united Congo, one people, one nation, one destiny. His message spread like wildfire, and in 1960, history was made. The Congo gained independence. For 34 years old, Patrice Lumumba became the first prime minister of the newly independent nation. But then came the speech that shook the world. During the independence ceremony, Belgian King Baudouin praised colonial rule as a civilizing mission. Most expected Congolese leaders to smile and remain silent. Lumumba did the opposite. Standing before the world, he delivered the fierce speech, exposing decades of humiliation, exploitation, forced labors, racism, and suffering endured by the Congolese people. The room froze. The colonial masters were furious, but Africans everywhere cheered. So it gets interesting. For the first time, someone had to say to their faces, freedom had a voice, and that voice was Patrice Lumumba. Powerful people were watching, and they were afraid. The Congo possessed vast natural resources. It also sat in the middle of the Cold War. When chaos erupted after independence, foreign governments feared Lumumba would move closer to the Soviet Union. Within days, the army maintained, Belgian troops returned. The mineral-rich province of Katanga declared independence. The young nation was being torn apart. Lumumba appealed to the United Nations for help. When they failed, he sought assistance elsewhere. That decision changed everything. Suddenly, he was no longer viewed as a freedom fighter. He was viewed as a threat, a target. In September 1960, President Joseph Kasavubu announced Lumumba's dismissal. Lumumba challenged the move, but before the constitutional crisis could be resolved, a young army colonel named Mobutu seized power. Lumumba was placed under house arrest, yet he refused to surrender. Determined to reach his supporters, he escaped and began a dangerous journey across the Congo. He never made it. He was captured, beaten, humiliated, and handed over to his enemies. On January 17, 1961, Patrice Lumumba was tortured and executed. He was only 35 years old, but the horror didn't end there. His killers feared that a grave would become a shrine. So, they destroyed the evidence. His body was cut apart, dissolved in acid, erased, so they thought, because some people never truly die. Their ideas survive, their words survive, their sacrifices survive. For decades, the truth remained hidden behind political lies and Cold War secrecy. The documents emerged, investigations followed, and the world learned the extent of foreign involvement in the conspiracy against him. More than 40 years later, Belgium formally acknowledged its moral responsibility. In 2022, one of Lumumba's states, the only known remaining part of his body, was finally returned to his family. A tooth. That was the only remaining of the man who dreamed of an independent Africa. Today, Patrice Lumumba is remembered not as a victim, but as a symbol of resistance, a symbol of dignity, a symbol of African self-determination. For less than 3 months, yet more than 60 years after his death, his name still echoes across Africa. Because some leaders govern nations, others inspire generations. Patrice Lumumba did both, and for that, he paid the ultimate price. I tell the stories all the time. Do like, comment, and share your thoughts.